Welcome to the Association of Investment Advisors and Portfolio Manager. Tonight is the members award night and we're going to have a ball, right?
Yes, we will.
Absolutely, we're in for a fantastic time tonight. Well, I know we're pressed for time, so without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the council members. But first, my name is Mutuayade Famuti and...
My name is Austin Akwe. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Olufemi Oyetunji, the President of the Association.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this evening's forum. It's going to be the first of many, and I do hope that next time we extend our invitations to you, you will honor our invitation. Thank you very much. Welcome.
I think if you look at the country on a macro basis and look at the experience of other countries, you'll find that as wealth was created in the various countries, the wealth had to be managed. And the lot fell on people like yourselves in this room to be able to do that business and do it professionally and properly. The market has to grow because the economy of Nigeria is growing, maybe not as all-inclusive as we would like, because yes, there is wealth being created. Maybe the wealth is kept just by a few people, but whether we like it or not, it's going to come down and it's going to filter to as many people as possible. So the market for your services is going to grow, and people will be asking for those services, and you should be challenged to provide them professional advice. This is data from, I think, City UK. It estimates that the global assets under management is approximately about $118 trillion. That's huge. That's by 2011. We don't even have 2012 data yet, so we can do that comparison. But tendency is that I think, bearing what has happened in the world market, there's been about 6-7% growth in terms of those assets today. Those numbers aren't yet out yet, so I can't give it to you. Conventional funds, which are pension funds, mutual funds, and insurance companies, totaling about 79.8 trillion. So if you look at it, it's about 60%, if I'm correct, of all the funds that are under management. Conventional funds, and most of us are actually from a conventional fund background. You're either a pension fund manager, you're either a mutual fund manager, or you sit in terms of insurance companies and what have you. Then there's private wealth, which is significantly growing as well, is at 42 trillion. Of course, alternative funds have suffered over the time because of the kind of risk profile they have reduced themselves to in terms of valuation. So they are just about $10 trillion in terms of assets. So you see, what you find is that the conventional funds typically form the majority part of global funds in the world. And it's not different from Nigeria. You'll see the numbers when we show you there about. So around 1/3 actually is private wealth. Now, private wealth is also growing, especially in a place where you have middle class like Nigeria beginning to define itself in terms of cash flow and expenditure levels. The US remained the biggest source of funds in 2011 because of the nature and the size of the economy and the rest of it. And it accounts for nearly half of conventional asset management, funds under management. It's about 36 trillion. That's significantly high. So you find out that most people, when they do roadshows, they first go to the US before anybody else, because that's where the majority of that particular fund is. The UK was second largest center, and that's why the financial sector, they've concentrated on focusing on their FIs to grow the immediate service centers, and that's why it's always it's second actually. Of course, Europe is quite large. 8% of the total globe, of the rest of the global world has 8%. And Japan and the rest of it. Japan is not much because the Japanese are typically very good at saving. They hardly spend. In fact, they've been consistently under negative inflation because of the nature of the individuals out there. They'd rather save than spend, and that's why you're seeing this kind of trend over there. When it talks to the type of funds that we're looking at, you see ETFs, hedge funds, private equity, SWS, mutual funds, and the rest of them. It also classifies all of the series that we have over there. This data we can always get and interpret as it is. Like I explained, the US is high up there in terms of investment centers: UK, Japan, France, Germany, Netherlands. Funny enough, look at the numbers from Netherlands. You see that their pension funds, despite the small population of the country, has $1.1 trillion in terms of pension funds. What does that tell you? It's a very organized society that have developed a safety net for the working class from before anybody knew what was going on. For a country as small as Netherlands to have above 1 trillion, that's significant. US is what, 15 times the size of Netherlands, and financial engineering has always been part of what they do. They are 17 trillion. That's significant.
The next event is the award to the fellows.
Well, I think it's a growing area of business. It's a sector that, given the figures on the economy of Nigeria, its growth trajectory, it is a profession that has to grow, because as wealth is built up, most people do not have the skills to be able to properly manage their wealth. And there's nothing like having professionals who know the business, who can advise them and ensure that they can reduce their risks and not lose all their life savings. So I'm very pleased to be involved in this effort, and my hope is that this association will continue to grow, because more and more the skill set of the individuals who are involved in it will be required by the growing economy.
The first and the most primary thing is knowledge about investment opportunities and the various forms of investment that are open to individuals. As I keep telling people, you don't need to have $1 million before you start investing. So for us as an association, we believe it's important to educate, first of all, ourselves as advisors, and then educate the people, because the worst thing you can do is to misadvise people. What happened in 2007, 2008 was not misadvice. What happened was greed, and everybody was guilty of it. And I believe that we have actually learned our lesson. I can see that there's a bit of optimism and confidence coming back into the market, and I think for an astute investor, the time to get back into the market is now.
Over the years, IAPM has played a significant role, especially in the area of capacity development, and we have trained most investment advisors and portfolio managers across the market. We have run different programs at different times. We had a program in conjunction with University of Lagos where we were certifying pension fund operators at a time. So I think we've contributed significantly to knowledge development in this market. We have been a voice for investments practitioners. We hope to continue to do that.